Hello, this is Ken Strain with BoomRight. Today I'm going to show you the exercise program that I have in BoomRight Foundation. Now, the whole point of this exercise program is to make booming with arms overhead easier, but not to make it so that that's all you do is booming with your arms overhead. We know that's not the goal of BoomRight. But the thing is, once you learn the BoomRight technique, you'll be booming with your arms overhead so rarely that it actually becomes more uncomfortable, ironically. So instead of making your life more complicated with some crazy like exercise stretch routine where you complicated, takes a long time, maybe you need a gym membership, I want to show you that you can do this anywhere, like an apartment, a basement. You can even do this at work. You can do this in a camera truck. It doesn't matter where you are. You can do this anywhere. And I'm going to show you exactly how and demonstrate. Now, the first thing you need to do is warm up your shoulders. I recommend the warm-up that Simon Hayes provides in my ebook. He read my ebook, liked the exercise program, and shot a video in his hotel room while he was on location in Spain, which was really cool. Check that out. It's right there and it's awesome. I have a very simple little prep that I do, and that's wall angels. Wall angels are very simple, but they really work your shoulder blades, and keeping your shoulders tight when you're going arms overhead really helps for that. So even if you just do wall angels throughout the day, that's going to be a huge help. So we'll start with wall angels as sort of a strengthening and shoulder warm up. All right, so here's how that goes. First, you go to a wall and you stand about a foot from the wall, okay? You want your feet a little bit away so that you can lean against the wall. Now, when you lean against the wall, you can't have an arched back, right? This is not gonna work. It needs to be straight and your back of your head needs to touch. That's not easy, but that's what you gotta do. So once you do that, you put your arms up and you press your shoulder blades back against the wall. Now you're in the starting position. Now you're gonna reach as high as you can. This is about all I got. Some people can touch their hands together. I'm not one of those people, but this is what I do. So you do 10 of these, 10 to 20. I'll do 10 because this is a video, I don't wanna waste your time. It's New York, people honk, what can I say? So that's the wall angels. The next thing I'm gonna show you is shoulder presses. Now we're gonna look at the shoulder press. I chose the standing shoulder press because this most closely simulates our position when we're overhead booming. So why not do the exercise that's exactly like what we find ourselves doing? So it's gonna be like this, right? I chose to use bands and a handle. This is a handle by Clench Fitness. This is a band by Rogue, but Clench does sell bands to go along with their handles. The handle helps the band from cutting into your hand. And then you want to wear some footwear so you can get your foot over the band. You can create more tension too by using 2 feet if you need more, or you can just go to a harder band. But what we want to do here is about 10 on each side, or 10 reps, and then another 10 reps. And we're gonna gradually over time work our way up to 20 using the same resistance. So it's gonna be 40 total in each session. So we'll do 10, take a little break, do 10, and that's gonna be to start. If you can do more than 10, cool. You'll know that you're getting better when you hit 20. Once you hit 20, bump up the resistance, make the band harder, spread your feet apart, whatever it is. So it looks something like this. You put your hand like this, And naturally, we're gonna come up like this. Now you see how we have to stabilize this thing? It's unstable. I got my shoulder working to make this stable, and I'm following a natural track. That's why we're not doing barbell presses, because I don't want to force our shoulders into a track that's not natural to strengthen our shoulders. It's very easy to mess your shoulders up doing barbell, like standing barbell presses. Even though a barbell is similar to a boom, you can mess your shoulders up. The way I'm doing this now allows my shoulder to do what it wants. My arm is naturally doing this. Then we can switch sides. And I forgot to mention, but keep the band on the outside so it doesn't get all caught up. You saw it getting caught up there. Keep the band sort of on the outside like this. There you go. The band is so good at forcing your arms to stabilize. And it doesn't weigh anything. You can put this in your suitcase, one band, one handle, in your suitcase when you travel on location, or keep it in your bag. You can use it at work. I mean, it's awesome. Great, right? So that's with the band, and I love this. Now, if you're already going to a gym, or you have a set of dumbbells, or you have adjustable dumbbells, you can do dumbbells. The advantage to using like dumbbells is that you have a very specific progressive overload. You know when you hit 20, you'll go up to the next weight. So you can track your progress if you're into that sort of thing. But we're not really trying to be like super gym freaks. We're just trying to get our shoulders strong enough to hold the boom when we have to hold the boom. But one advantage to the dumbbells besides the progressive overload is kind of you can save a little bit of time by doing both. So doing this. These are 5-pounders, they're easy, but you get the idea. Just allow your arms to be tracking naturally. You could do this. And just keep your shoulders tight. Whenever you do this, keep your shoulders tight. And that's with dumbbells. Last option, kettlebells. Kettlebells have big jumps, so it's a little harder to do the progress, but if you hit 20 with kettlebells, if you go to the next size, you'll drop back down to 10, I guarantee you. So kettlebells are kind of cool because of their instability. We all know about this, they're unstable, but you just make sure you rack it properly like this, and then you can come up like this. Once again, this is a little bit lighter just to show you the idea, but you can do double. If you have a second kettlebell of the same one, you can do double, save a little bit of time. But if you really want to focus on it, and focus, because it is similar to what we're doing is one arm at a time. Whenever we're booming, we got weight coming down one arm and going up the other. So kind of doing one side at a time makes sense in the context of booming. So we are going to be sort of doing this one arm situation. And that is standing shoulder press, which will help you tremendously when you have to hold the boom overhead. Next, we have pull-ups or dead hangs. Okay. This last exercise that you need to learn or you want to incorporate in this exercise routine is to compensate for when we go arms overhead. You got this arm pushing up, you're going to have this arm pulling down, which is terrible for the body, but you might as well strengthen that pushing down position as well. There's various ways to do that. start out with pull-ups. Now I know pull-ups aren't really the easiest thing, but what I do to make pull-ups easier a little bit is I use rings. And the rings allow my arms to compensate, my shoulders to compensate and move naturally instead of being forced down. So this is like a kind of a little bit more of a power move, is doing pull-ups. And I give the rep scheme in the book, but you're gonna try to basically do as many pull-ups as you can times 2. 2 sets of however many pull-ups you can do. Like this. Right, so I'm going to show you variations of this. The other thing you can do to make this easier, let's say you can't barely do 1 pull-up, or you can do a few pull-ups. If you can't even do 1 pull-up, a great way to start is you take a box or something to stand on, and you come up to this top position, and you come up here, hold, and then slowly let yourself down. And then you come up to the top again, hold, slowly let yourself down, in control. Do that for 10, 2 sets of 10. You can do more sets of that, and this has already been studied as a way that is very efficient in building muscle. So you can go to that is this, what's called negatives. The other way that I like to incorporate a little volume, you know, if you're not very strong, but you want to really do some pull-ups and get some done, is with a band. So I happen to have a place to put a band, but using a band kind of gives you the ability to anybody to do pull-ups. You know, we can loop the band around the knee, and now I can get on here. And at the worst position, at the lowest, most difficult part of the position, I have assistance. So now I can come up. So it's a very kind of linear curve with the band. The hardest part gets a little easier, and the easiest part stays hard. And it works great. And so if you want to do like 20 pull-ups, but you don't have the strength to barely do 10, a band will let you do that and give you a little more like endurance training. So that's doing pull-ups. Now, pull-ups are not necessarily what you need, like you don't have to do pull-ups. You could alternatively, I like pull-ups because it kind of gives you a good balance for the pressing exercise that I showed you. But one of the easiest things you could do, and it's not that easy, but it's simple, is a dead hang. So a dead hang will sort of recreate that feeling of pulling down on the back of a boom pole, especially if you're full extension with a heavy mic at the end. That is the same thing. If you're up like this and you're coming down this way, a dead hang is going to give you the same feeling. And you can, the way you increase the dead hang is just the amount of time that you spend with a dead hang. So if you've never done a dead hang before, do 15 seconds and try to add like 5 seconds every time you do it. You can do these every day, honestly, because it's not like you're pulling and pulling and pulling. You're getting your body used to this force. So I'll show you a dead hang. I use these rings, but you can do a bar or whatever. And all you do is put your hands up and kind of just let go. Now, it's okay actually to put your feet on the ground. If you can reach the feet to the ground or a box, it's okay. You don't have to completely have all your weight off like this. You can actually put your feet down a little bit like this and take a little bit of the load off, and you'll still be okay. And you're shooting for 30 seconds minimum. Start with 15 if you've never done it before. But you want to do like 30 seconds and work your way up to a minute and 30 seconds. I mean, if you can do 3 minutes, you're a champion. But this will definitely help you if pull-ups are just too much right now, or you just can't get to pull-ups. This will still strengthen you, and this is actually good prep for pull-ups. But you do want to get to pull-ups eventually. So there you go. That is the dead hang, and that's sort of the work that you can do to prepare yourself for booming on occasion to make it easier, so that when you're stuck on the set and, oh shoot, now you have to go arms overhead. You've exhausted all your other options for keeping it nice and low, and you got to go arms overhead. This will help you deal with that with less stress and less fatigue, which is the whole point of BoomRight. I'm going to show you one more thing. This is a little bonus thing I'm throwing in here just for fun, but one of the things that we have to deal with is dealing with wires on people's ankles. So oftentimes we find ourselves in a position of having to drop down low and get to someone's ankles to change a battery or even just put an ankle pack. And you might as well strengthen your knees while you're at it. Very simple exercise I like to do is called the Hindu squat. And so we know we have to come down like this and reach someone's ankle. So we might as well just train that position. And I know it involves a squat. So you have to start learning how to squat. Spend a little time every now and then training yourself to get into this squat position, right? And you do this as much as you can. Just do a little, if you're only this far, go this far and do it as much as you can. Keep getting yourself down till you can have a nice deep squat, and then you can start working in some Hindu squats. Now, it might not be for you, your knees might not be up to it, so this is really a watch your own body and just see what you can do, because if you have really bad knees, it's probably not good for that. But if your knees are okay, that's something you might want to incorporate to make your day-to-day easier on set. So thank you so much. I'm Ken Strain, this is BoomRight, and this was a small exercise program that's in my ebook, BoomRight Foundation.